The question is whether it would be a real story or not.
Always a real story.
Lizzie has a question over there.
We discussed this last night. People asked, why didn't we write them down? And the answer was, what do you think?
They hadn't invented chalk by then.
You can't embellish the stories that are written down.
That's right.
So in
You
19...
have a question? You're not ready for a question?
No, it was a joke.
Well, I got to tell you a quick one.
Okay,
In 1947, we had a huge blizzard in Idaho. And it was so much snow and wind that you could walk right up the drift onto our house. It was a two-story house. You just walk right up it. And I have a picture in this book that Bonnie did that showed my dog and I underneath this cave of snow. And it lasted for a long time because we were not the first people to get plowed out. And so it lasted 2 weeks before we got to school. Now, there's a problem with that, and that's that we had lots of chickens. Thank you. And we had lots of cows. And, you know, how are you going to store the milk? Where's the food for your chickens? Well, my dad always figured that he'd be prepared. And so he would get 2 weeks supply for all of his chicken food, but the milk was a different story. So we took the tractor, that first year we took actually the horse, and we had a sleigh. We got the sleigh out, and 2 horses, and we would go through the fields, and every time we came to a ditch, we'd pour this water on the snow so we'd make a bridge across it. And we took down the fences, and we would be able to go 1.5 miles to the nearest paved street, and then we could get food and get their cans out for the milkman to take, bring it back, and bring the mail in. It was a ball. That was really fun.
Out of school for 2 weeks.
Well, we had to go to school. And so we would walk to school and we could step over the telephone lines.
Wow. Do you remember doing that?
And when they first plowed us out, all they took was a big old Caterpillar tractor. And they went through and we had a 10-foot wide
Bank
bank.
on the side.
Just a road was 10 foot wide. And once in a while, they'd give a little place where you could turn out. But anyway, and then it got muddy. And then the bottom of the road gave out. And we just had one muddy road. Anyway, that's
question.
So I have a follow-up question.
that was a cool story.
I have a follow-up question. I've heard rumors about a potato in the pocket to keep warm, and I want to know if that was
Real?
real or real.
Well, it was not real in my family.
What about the uphill both ways?
What?
Oh, that was very real.
That's how much it snowed that day.
Bonnie, it's your turn.
No, it's yours. They're asking you a question.
Well, I didn't ever take the hot potato to school.
How did you keep
But
your
Bonnie
hands
did.
warm?
I kept them in her pockets.
Grandma, you did?
We did take potatoes to school. We ate baked potatoes at school. Whether if they were baked when we took them, I don't remember. But I have heard that story told by my daughters.
So you
I
didn't take
don't
them
know.
warm in your pockets to
I
keep your hands warm?
don't know. I don't know.
I don't
But-
know where we heard that from.
We had a room upstairs in our house, second story. And Owen and I and Dale all slept up there. And there was no heat up there. They would open up the door sometimes and we'd get a little bit of heat up there, but at night we put on quite a few covers.
Layers.
And then we'd take a gallon bottle or a 2-quart bottle and fill it full of boiling hot water and wrap it in a towel and put it at the foot of our bed.
Wow.
I have a question.
Sure.
I heard that you were in a play when you were a teenager. How did you hear about that, and what was it, and what did you do?
Well, when I was a junior, senior, I had a buddy that tried to get me involved in plays. And he did.
Who was that?
Terrell Birch. And so, well, this one play, it was a one-act play, and it was, you know, melodrama. And so he got mad at us, and he hit me in the eye. He wanted it to be just as really make it look like it was there, so he would go like this. He would go like this, you know, and open his, but he hit me really hard. And I just kind of relaxed and then pushed me down. And I went bang, 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 bang. I was this edge going off the stage.
And what was that play called? Do you remember?
I don't know. It's
How to
not
make $1
book.
million from the stock.
Were you in a lot of plays, Dad?
4 or 5.
So all of you drama kids, that's where you get it from.
They're all hams.
So Ethan, stand up. How old are you?
Stand up, Ethan.
Can you stand up? Are
Ethan, come on.
you
Ethan,
8?
come on, Ethan.
He's 9.
Are you 9? So ask Grandpa what life was like when he was 9 for him.
Well,
You're baptized.
9 years old was a special time. You know, October, we would pick potatoes. And in the summertime, we would put up hay. And the springtime, we'd plow the land. And in the summertime, we'd irrigate it. Now, as a boy that was 8 years old, 9 years old, I didn't do a lot, but I always had my own shovel. And when we went out to irrigate, I would help, maybe a little bit.
What was your job when it was time to harvest? When you were 9 or 8?
Basically, when I was that age, I put all the sacks on top of my old horse. It was a workhorse. And I would put it in the saddle, and I would sit behind him right on the back end of the horse. I mean, right on the back end of the horse. And I would drop these sacks down every 10 feet.
For those who are picking the potatoes
Those
to
were
fill.
50-pound sacks?
100-pound sacks.
So
100-pound
that
sacks.
means every 10 feet,
empty
Derek
yourself.
would fill a 100-pound sack
No,
every 10 feet.
about 70 pounds.
Wow.
Gosh.
They had to leave the top of it so they
So we
could
could close it.
hold it and get it.
So what age were you when you started driving the truck?
Well, I drove horses. So when we were in the hayfield, and Marvin and Owen and Dell would pitch the hay onto the wagon, and I would drive the horses up and down the rows of hay. It was loose hay, and they would just pitch it on. And my dad built a derrick that was the tallest in the whole country. And he would build these haystacks that were about 50, 60 feet high, maybe 70 feet high. Wow. Which is a long ways up there, guys.
They probably don't know what a derrick is, Dad.
Well, that's probably a good idea.
And you can draw, put it back, son.
I don't have a pencil.
Here.
You can draw it on those papers, we don't need them.
Okay, so there you go. So you had an A-frame, and first of all, this is the bottom of the derrick, and then from here, you would have it come up like this, and here, and here, and here, and these two would touch each other. I'm sorry, I didn't draw it right. And then you'd hang the derrick pole under here, and the derrick pole would come like this. And you want it higher, you would chain this down, you know, and then this is where we'd put the hay in the stack, and this was really high.
So turn around and show the kids sitting next to you there.
And so, and 50 feet high, is that what you said?
Yeah, 50, 60 feet high,
So we're on the 3rd story of this house. How far is it from here to the ground?
not 25.
So twice as high as this
house.
Wow.
house
Wow.
up in the air.
Yeah, will you show that to the camera right there?
Oh, to the camera.
Drop it down right there. Perfect.
Anyway, he had always pride on how big he'd make his haystacks. And you know, if you did one stack, you had less hay spoiled than if you did a bunch of little stacks. So he always did a good job on putting up hay.
And that's because the inside, however tall the inside, all stayed good, and the outside would, you see it wet.
That's right. That's right. So even though I was 8 years old, I was always had work to do.
And how many hours did you work during the day, every day for?
Weekends.
When you weren't riding trees?
Well, we had fun too. We'll say that, that I always had a job to do, particularly when we were haying or upping up potatoes or anything to do with crops, irrigating. I had to go work. And if people would come, my cousins would come, then we had this big forest in the back of our house. And when I say a forest, it just had probably 1,000 trees in it. And some of the trees were this big around, the cottonwood trees. And we'd go back there and play. And we would find a certain kind of grass that was quite limber. And we would sit on top of it and let our feet come down and hit it, and we'd jump. That thing go, you'd hang like that, and back up and down. And we'd do a lot of other things, build forts, climb trees, cut down trees. I cut down a tree that was about this big around with an axe that my father got me for Christmas.
Wow.
And a little axe.
Was it a cherry tree?
Must have been 12.
And how long did it take?
Oh, this day, me too.
Do you have blisters?
I don't think so. My hands are pretty hard.
Tell us about your dad.
Had a great dad. When he taught school until the time that I was born. And then he decided he wanted his boys to know how to work. And so he bought a farm. And he showed that to my mother's father, his farm one day, and he looked around that farm and had ditches all over, and he says, boy, you bought yourself one hell of a job. Oh, one heck of a job.
Documented.
Okay, so that was Grandpa Murdoch.
That's correct.
That
Daniel
said
Murdoch.
That
Daniel.
said that.
Yes.
Daniel Jefferson.
And, but Dad would
Okay, stop.
work that farm every year, and he'd make us, it had a scraper, and he'd make it more level, more level. And it was a good farm. It was only 80 acres.
Don't touch it.
And so we had to have the chickens. Well, let me tell you why we had the chickens. My brother was old enough to go on a mission. And our income during this... Owen. And our income was determined by the cows during every time except for when we sold the crop, which was usually March, and potatoes. And so we had to have other income coming in. So my dad says, well, how can I get other income so we can support Owen in the mission field? It was going to cost about $60 a month to do that. And so he went and he looked at every chicken house in the whole valley. He finally, that's what he did. He finally started, first of all, he built a little house that was keep warm for the little tiny chicks called the brooder house. And then he thought, well, we'll get the chicken house built before the chickens start laying. Well, you know how it is when you're on a farm. You never get everything done that you're supposed to. So we had pullets that were starting to lay. They were about this tall. And we didn't have a house for them. So my dad played Tom Sawyer. And he had some of my mom's sisters and their family that were going to come and go for the 4th of July. And so he gave them all a shovel. He put down some lime or something where he wanted the foundation for the chicken coop to be built. And he gave them all a shovel and sent them out to go to work. And then after they got all the foundation, then we went and played.
That's a good plan.
How deep was the foundation?
About 30 inches. It froze up to 28 inches down in the ground in the wintertime. And if a frost got under the foundation, then it would crack the foundation and crack the walls.
So how long did you keep chickens, Dad?
Forever.
Always, the whole
Yeah.
time you had the farm?
No, after one left.
You know, Dad, is this the Teton Dam farm?
Yes,
St. Anthony?
Wilford. The way he said the Teton Dam is that they built a dam up on the Teton River right above our place. Except it was probably 5 or 6 miles up there, maybe 10. And as they were filling the dam up, the dam breached the side. It didn't. It hit it next to the side of the rocks. It was a dirt dam. And so it breached, and very quick we had this whole wall of water coming down towards us.
So this happened before 1976. This was before, earlier, when you would live there?
We did not live there at the time. We'd sold the farm. My dad was teaching school again. He had a bad hip. He couldn't run the farm with a bad hip. So while I was in the mission field, he went to school. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in education when he was
I remember that.
58, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so this wall of water hit those big trees that I just talked about, and there was not one tree left. It was just flat ground. And those trees went down, and one of them probably went through there's a tree went through the wall of the cultural hall of the church. Now, it could not necessarily our tree, but it was a tree.
And when we went to Wilford, did we find the foundation of the house?
No.
Everything
The chicken coop had the foundation still.
The one you dug, way to go.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Foundation.
Was there, not the house.
But anyway, that's what I did when I was growing up. No matter how old you were, you had things to do. Yes.
So when you were about to like get out of school and maybe go to college, did you know what you were gonna do, like once you got out of school?
Yes. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't know what an engineer meant. But I had my friend, Terrell Birch, that came when I was about 3rd grade in school, and he says, I'm going to be an engineer. And I said, what's an engineer do? Drive a train? He says, no, they build things. Well, I'd like to build things, so I'm going to be an engineer. And so when I was in high school, I took electronics class and got my ham radio operator's license. And so that put me, I graduated in electrical engineering. And I was working on that all the time I was in high school and college.
So, talk about preparing for college and the classes that you took. My kids have heard this, but just how much you wanted to learn.
Well, so I took physics, took chemistry, I took math, and we only had advanced algebra at the time, and calculus in school. But so I just took the hard classes.
Why, Dad?
So I would have the background to go to college.
And why was that important to you?
Well, so I could make enough money to support myself. You know, as a person working in the field, we made $1 an hour. And that wasn't enough to make, to support a family. And so I always thought I was going to be an engineer, get a degree. And did you know that every one of my siblings had a degree in school?
That's impressive.
And my father has a degree, and my mother has a degree.
What about your grandpa?
My grandfather had his degree. My mom and dad.
What was one of your hardest jobs on the farm?
Oh man, you don't want to know.
Cleaning out what?
So in the spring, we would have the cows and the horses in a corral
Over the winter?
over the winter. And we'd feed them hay and straw and keep straw so that area didn't become a quagmire. And then the spring, we had to get all that out, and we took all the manure out and put it out on the land with a manure spreader. And we had to fill that with pitchforks.
How old are you now, Dad?
I don't know, 7, 8.
Oh.
Sophie, what do you think about that? Shoveling manure with a pitchfork?
Oh, please, no.
But anyway, that was a lot of work. One time we finally got it all cleaned up, and my father was going to town. He did it about once a week. He says, Owen and Dale, I want you to put up a corral fence while I'm gone. So they did that, and rather than dig post holes, that was hard. So they just kind of wired it up. My dad came home and says, let's go look at your corral. They were really proud of that. And he pushed on it and it fell over.
Aww.
He said, "We
Alan
better-"
wants to know, how come you used a pitchfork instead of a shovel for manure?
Had a lot of hay and straw in it.
So it
Would
moved it
held
easier?
together.
Yeah, your shovel wouldn't go in.
What is your favorite story that you remember about
About what?
our family?
What is our family?
What's your favorite story that you remember about our family?
We don't understand the question.
Yeah, so about this family, all these people, what's one of your favorite stories about all of us?
Together.
Yeah, together, Dad.
Your
favorite times?
One of the best things we ever did was buy a boat,
Yeah,
go to Twin Lakes together.
yeah.
How many of you agree that that was one of the best things they ever did?
We bought a partnership in a fishing boat. The
Yeah,
best thing I ever
exactly.
did, the best thing I ever did was not buy a boat. Thank you, Tim.
Can you
So-
hear that, Evan?
Didn't you think you were getting a fishing boat?
Yes, I thought we were getting a fishing boat. But they did ski behind it.
Oh, yeah, no, we did.
And so I thought that if we bought that we'd have a fishing boat and a skiing boat. Well, so we went to Twin Lakes. And the first year we used Dale's boat, and the second year I took my boat up. I had it. Well, 2 of us owned the boat. A neighbor.
Is that the Bow boat?
No, this is the
Green book.
Green boat.
green boat, Center Console, and it would ski at 28 miles an hour.
With a couple people in it.
And Dale would ski at 32 miles an hour. And Craig tried to walk barefoot behind that boat. And I said, "Oh, this isn't going to work. The kids are going to want a better boat than this." And I didn't want it. I was fine with what I was. And so, but Bonnie didn't like that boat either. So she and Craig went out and bought a low and bow boat. And it was low in the bow. And I came home, and there in the garage was a boat that she bought. I never saw it before it got there.
Mom, way to go!
I'm so proud of you.
Is that gospel true, Craig?
Do you remember that a different way?
I do.
Bonnie, I'm so proud of you.
I'm not.
Tell your-
Buying a
tell
boat
your
without
story.
telling your spouse about it.
Can I ever see it?
Is that what you did, Dad?
I don't.
Charity over here.
What?
He wants to get Charity over there so she can hear that too.
Best thing, buy a boat, Evan, that's what they said. Best thing, yeah. And that was
And the wife bought the boat.
And the son bought the boat.
I think Grandpa used to bring up all this fishing gear. First couple years went to Twin Lakes, it was fishing gear and lures and all kayaks,
Everything.
all that stuff, and then just kind of.
And why was that a good thing? Buying a boat and going to Twin Lakes?
Well, you know, there's not many things that you can do in life where everybody that's in the boat, if somebody takes a good spill outside, starts rating that spill and telling you how great it was and all those kind of things, you know. And they encourage each other. They encourage them to learn to ski. They encourage them to improve skiing. They encourage them all sorts of ways, rather than never derogatory about what they were doing. As far as I could tell, well, it probably was, but
If it was a fall, it was a good fall.
One more life jacket. One more.
Now, I remember one day, your grandpa doesn't swim very well, by the way, because when he was 8 years old, or 7 years old, or 6 years old, he was swimming, learned to ski, went to take skiing lessons, or swimming lessons in the Snake River. And there was some type of a virus in the water. And it got into my inner ear, and a third of my eardrum was gone. And so anytime I would get any water in my ear, it would go right to my inner ear, and then it just scab over and break again. It was really painful. And so finally, when I was in Oregon, I'd been there for about 6 or 7 years, we had that fixed, operated on and fixed.
And didn't you take swimming lessons?
For one time,
After you got
Yeah,
and not enough.
yeah.
After we,
But Dad, didn't you ski before that? You should tell that story. I thought you skied without ever falling down off the.
Well, okay, so that's how I learned to ski.
Yeah.
You guys want to hear that story?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Evan says you weren't skiing hard enough.
Dale had a new boat. It was a wood boat and made it out of kit. And we were up at Palisade Reservoir, which is a high reservoir. And the snow had been off of there maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And that was cold water. I mean cold. And the fish were not biting for anything. Didn't get one bite as far as I could tell. And so it came in the afternoon and Dale says, well, let's go water skiing. I said, oh, it's too cold and I can't get my head underwater. Well, you don't have to worry about that. All you need to do is go sit on the dock over there and take a couple loops of rope.
This is easy, ask about it.
Oh yeah, way easy.
And when you say hit it, you throw that loop up in the air, and then you just put your skis up like this, and I'll pull you right off the dock.
and he did.
And he did.
The first time.
I was just, my knees were going like this.
You not swim?
It's one of those like life
Around
jacket
your
things.
Well, that's
right?
right.
Just a white thing.
Anyway, so what he said is, I'll pull you off the dock. We can go out and ski around a little while. When you're ready to go back, just go like this, and I'll pull right by the boat land where you take the boat into the trailer, and you can ski right up there. When we get about this deep, just step out of your skis. And
Did that work?
well,
That's what he did.
he explained it, and that's what I did.
And he didn't fall down.
And I didn't fall down.
That's just,
That is.
How was the end of that?
What?
How was the end of that?
I just read up on this.
How many people have you taught to ski?
no one has done that.
Never.
I walked out of my skis
I
onto the
need
shore.
Dell to explain it to me, apparently.
We used to ski up to the shore, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, we did ski.
we are pretty good at spraying that.
Oh, anyway, that was how I
Walked out
learned
and
to
ski
ski.
onto the shore there.
What was it like to become a parent for the first time?
Fantastic.
That trees are great.
Well, there's a lot of like, it's a different kind of life living with a child, right? Like,
Well, you know, we
I was
had
such a
been married
perfect
a
child.
year and 19 days. A year less than 19 days, when Dries was born. And she was such a beautiful girl. Oh, she was beautiful. And you couldn't help but love her. And of course, I could do that until she became a teenager.
And I had been working while we were expecting her, but we came home for the summer. She was born in Idaho. And then I went back and I didn't go back to work. I stayed home with the baby and just took care of, I think, just 1 or 2 children. And it was enough to get us food for the, you know,
You were still going to Utah State then, right?
Dad was still
Yeah,
at
but-
school.
And where were you working, Mom, at that time? Were you still being a dental hygienist? What were you doing?
No, I was at FACL and I was a secretary, typing proposals, so I was typing.
So the first
Anyway.
day at work, Bonnie had a 1951 Chevy
man.
car, and this was that was the 1961 or 2. So anyway, the car was 10 years old or so, and to get to Thoughtcall from Logan, where we live, you had to go up this big old pass and over the other side.
Was it Brigham City?
What?
To
Sardine
Brigham
Pass.
City.
What?
Sardine Pass.
Yes.
Yep. And so she went over that pass, and she was, I don't know if she was late for work, but she was.
I was hurrying.
She was hurrying a little bit extra. And so the policeman followed her, and Bonnie didn't look behind her.
You weren't winning.
And so he waited until she went the city limits.
Then he
and
gave you
pulled
the
her
ticket.
over. Then it was a $50 fine, and she lost her license for 6 months.
Oh, you lost your license. That's the case story.
That's it.
Where it started.
Sorry,
You can blame it on genetics there.
And how fast were you going?
I don't know. I was going, there were other people that were passing. I just was following them passing, but I had out-of-state plates. And Brigham City is famous for building their tax base on people from out of state.
So let me tell you her side story. It was rather interesting. She came home and she was in tears. And she says, that judge is unfair. And it was a red-headed judge.
A lady.
A lady. And no matter how big the tears were, it didn't make any difference. And so,
She didn't bend one iota, so I lost the right to drive. But it was a real blessing, because then I rode with other people, paid them, and could enjoy the ride. And I didn't ever drive the whole time. I worked at Tycom. I just rode with other people and paid them to drive.
so going up that pass in the wintertime would have been very treacherous.
Was not a big deal.
So it was a blessing in our lives that
For
she
me to
was
lose
not
that
able
last
to drive.
So Mom got a ticket and it was a miracle.
I've had so many miracles in
Say miracle.
my life.
We've had so many miracles in our family. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know where we got that story from, but it was another.
They were asking, yeah,
Okay.
parent for the first time,
Well, you know,
or anytime.
we were very pleased. We were very pleased whenever each of you came to the world.
My favorite pictures are the ones where each of the children is holding the next child, the new child. And just the feeling of awe and wonder that's in their eyes as they look at that new baby. It's just priceless.
So anyway, we were very happy. A little surprised sometimes.
Okay.
So
Next question.
Allie asked, she said, you have raised a generation of readers. So many children who just love books and love to read. And how do you think that happened? What are some of your favorite books, and why do you think we all love to read so much? How did you teach us to do that?
I don't like to read. I remember my English class. Sorry, Jim. And we were studying Macbeth. And that was about the dumbest reading I'd ever done.
However, when I was doing English, we studied Macbeth and we acted it out. And I was Lady Macbeth. And
And so you got your love to read from your mom. It's not that I don't read. I do read. It's a little hard right now because I can't read very sight. So I'm going to have other cataract removed in November.
November.
Okay, does that answer your question?
We did always read to the children, right from the beginning. And encouraged, just we had books for them, bought books for them all the time. And read as a family. What's the book that you remember
Where
most?
the red fern grows.
Where the Red Fern Grows.
How many know what that book is about?
Okay, yep.
The rest of you better read that.
We
So-
remembered we would sit on Mom and Dad's bed, and when we got to the end, Dad was crying.
Passing the book off.
He
to
handed the
Mom.
book to me, and I couldn't read it either, and so I handed it to Therese, and just read the end
A
of
hard
it.
soul.
I also remember you guys, that Mom would read to Dad while we were driving.
Yeah.
We're driving.
We read What's Up, Doc, right? As a book?
No,
We
I don't.
have that book.
I thought we read it.
You
as
read
we were-
Mrs. Pigglewiggle.
Yeah, we
I
were
love
visit- we loved
Many of
Big
those
Willow.
books. We had probably
And we used to listen to
Yeah.
Mrs. Halifax.
Mrs.
yeah.
Halifax,
Halifax,
a
that was
lot
the
of
other
those
one.
books.
So did we ever watch videos in the car?
We didn't have videos at that
Yeah,
time.
it never happened.
Oh, but we did
Listen
have,
to Bill Cosby a lot.
yeah, we did have
That was later.
that Walt Disney series, and we
Yeah.
read that. You guys all read those.
Yeah. Well, and what else do we do in the car?
Sang.
Sang a lot.
Sing a lot.
What some songs
Sing a
to
lot.
sing?
Sing a song?
Okay.
Camille, did you get that pick up on a thought over here? You'd like to sing another song? Okay.
I think
Hey,
that's
Me-
okay, let's pause the video while
Was
we
there
sing.
one that you had,
Yeah, that is one.
that Teresa had in mind?
No, wait,
No,
Oh.
let's keep it going.
Keep it going, he says keep it going. Oh, never mind, it's just,
You can't pause the video.
yours is over there.
Okay, tell everyone what song.
If you want
It was
to.
just
I
that
think
thing.
it just
Okay.
So let's sing, yeah, If I Had a Wagon.
If I had a
And,
way.
and what's really special about this song
Did you
is
stop it?
when we moved to Oregon,
Mom
they
said
asked
stop.
our family to talk in
It's
church.
okay if they don't record this moment.